Brady Cullen in the CapeCod.com News Center. Welcome to Sunday Journal. I'm joined today by some special guests from the Upper Cape Tech School, but specifically a returning face with Bobby. Do you mind introducing yourselves for our listeners?
Hi there, I'm Bobby Generaux. I'm the drama advisor at Upper Cape Tech.
All right, awesome. Finley?
I'm Finley Andreed. I'm a senior at Upper Cape Tech in the auto collision repair shop.
All right, awesome. Thank you both for joining me for this conversation today. We have some fun holiday events, actually, that is the continuation of something that I believe you started last year, Bobby, with a dinner and a show. So we wanted to learn a little bit more about what is upcoming for this December. Do you mind giving us a quick overview for the people interested in theatrics as well as good food?
Absolutely. First of all, we want to thank you for having us back. We got such great positive feedback last year after appearing on your show. We are offering dinner theater at Upper Cape Tech. Our drama club is putting on a holiday production. Last year we did A Christmas Carol. This year we're doing It's a Wonderful Life as a live radio play. Ooh. Yeah, so our set is a 1940s radio station. We have old-time microphones. All of our actors are voice actors bringing this classic holiday story to life. We even have a Foley artist making live sound effects on the stage, like in an old-school radio production. So it's going to look a little different than what people may be used to that we do, but it's a wonderful challenge for our actors. And then, of course, we have the great meal provided by our culinary department. Last year, everybody raved about the menu. Last year with A Christmas Carol, it was a very British Christmas menu. This year is a very American Christmas menu. Mm-hmm. We have 3 entree choices. We have prime rib, we have roasted chicken, and we have a vegetarian option, which is wild mushroom risotto. So it's really a great deal. It's $50 for the dinner and a show. And as I said last year, if you've ever been to a dinner theater, usually you're looking at $75 to $100, and they give you a Dixie plate full of spaghetti and bag salad and maybe a little roll. Here you're going to get a 3-course meal. They're going to start you with a holiday salad. You're going to get your entree choice, and then individual apple pies with vanilla ice cream for dessert. So. We think it's a great deal. We love the show. I think the kids have been having a fantastic time. This is something completely new for them to do from the acting perspective, doing it as voice actors. So things look a little different on stage. Traditional voice actors would have their script with them. Our kids will have their scripts. The challenge has been to, make it sound like this is not the first time that they're reading from that script. So they've got to, some of them are playing multiple characters, so they've got to keep track of the script when their character comes in. They have to keep track of what voice am I using for this particular character. Now, Finley's got it pretty easy because Finley is our star, George Bailey. But, Finley plays George and young George. But we have some actors that are playing, 5, 6 different voices. We've got a junior from our culinary department who's just amazing with all the different voices he does for every character. So it's been a lot of fun kind of putting this together. From the theater perspective, from the school perspective, the amazing thing has been all the involvement of our shops. Mm-hmm. So as always, our carpentry shop is building our sets, and they really dove into this one. The idea of creating a 1940s radio station was right up their alley. So we've got this wonderful set built. We've got our cosmetology department that is going to hairstyle all the girls with these 1940s, fondant, hairstyles that are just going to look amazing. And they've done them up on the mannequins, and they're just really, really cool. We have our engineering department that made for us on-air and applause signs like an old school radio station, and those are going to be working. We're going to have a booth where our tech kids are going to be running lights and sound and running the effects of the signs. And then we, of course, have our culinary students who are serving and preparing and setting up the dining room for this wonderful event. Last year was such an enormous hit. And we've really figured out some things because it was the first time we'd done something of this size.
Oh yeah, later we're definitely going to dig into how many things went wrong, right? Yeah, to learn from. But
so I think we've really streamlined the process, and I think when people come out, they're just going to have an amazing time. They're going to know they're supporting the arts in our school, and they know that they're giving our students a vocational opportunity. So we're very, very excited about this production.
That is wonderful. And with the radio, I'm going to be showing up to take some notes when it comes to the radio aspect side of things. I love the 1940s aesthetic. So is it going to be like actually mic'd up and play through speakers?
It is. We've actually got some old school microphones. They look like old school microphones.
Are you going to record it and then have a finished like radio play
Yeah, we
piece?
do have cameras to record it and have a finished product. But, we've got our tech guy has a couple of those kind of old school microphones, and we ordered some more. So we're going to have them in different setups. We'll have like 5 actors kind of out front, and then the angels, Clarence and Joseph, in the back. We've got them on a platform to give them kind of a heavenly perspective. But they're all, voice actors behind, old school microphones. We've got a table set up with all of our special effects sounds. They're all, live sounds. Someone's walking in snow. He's got shoes walking on cornflakes. It's like we're using like old school, Foley tech kind of sound effects.
Yeah, I'm immediately reminded of like the BBC Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, where it's actually just 4 dudes just trying to figure out how to play 18 different people.
That's right. Yeah.
So it sounds pretty fun already. Finley, I think now's a good time. Tell us a little bit more about your involvement in the show. Who are you playing? Actually, Bobby already mentioned who you're playing. But in your own words, like, how did you get drawn into theater? What's the most fun portion for you so far? What's the appeal for this show?
So I first started out drama in 6th grade when I was in a Macbeth play, which number 3 specifically.
Shakespeare for 6th grade. Okay, so
Yeah.
they aim high.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I like it. I love it.
But freshman year, I was really quiet and a little bit of a loner, and I wanted just a club to join where I could be part of like a family or have friends. So I decided to join drama club, where I started in Charlie Brown as Peppermint Patty, and I've stuck in the drama club all 4 years. And honestly, going into It's a Wonderful Life, I didn't really know. I hadn't watched the movie. I only knew of It's a Wonderful Life because of that one scene in Christmas Vacation, and that one scene at the end in what they were watching at the TV. So I kind of just asked Mr. General, I was like, which part do you think I would do best in? I got this part.
I love it. Well, I mean, hey, as your professor, it makes it easy to kind of
Yeah.
go through. He's got like the zodiac kind of for like how to line it all up. So it's a lot of fun. But so it being like a radio play style. Is that something new for you? The idea of just kind of being focused in on the microphone and doing fun voices and expressing yourself like that. Obviously, I'm biased. Here we are in front of microphones here. So I mean, I think it's a great time. And but how's it been for you so far?
Yeah, it's definitely something new. Like in my acting career, I guess I haven't really focused on like how I say things or the way I say things. I more focus on like how I do something. So this show actually helped me like hone in on my, I guess, voice acting skills, where I would more think about how a character would say it and like why they would say it.
Sounds good. I had a professor at 4Cs that had to beat voice and diction into me with a ruler, with enunciating in various plosives into the microphone. But it sounds like a lot of fun. Are you planning on pursuing a little bit more even after the school year is over with the theater so far?
Yeah, I'm interested in going into theater for college. I don't know. I don't really know anything beyond that, but want
Sounds
to continue
good.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, community theater as well as hey, check out your local radio stations and maybe there'll be some volunteer action going on for all we know. But Bobby, that's awesome. How has it been like? How many students are involved in this production on the drama side? And then I know culinary, and I mean, I guess who isn't involved? But can you give us a quick overview of the roster?
I think we've got about 9 total students involved between the acting and the tech side of things. And so we wanted to keep it, like a smaller cast because it's giving actors an opportunity to deal with, multiple characters and, work on really expressing themselves through different voices for different characters. I could have had, like 23 kids up there, but that'd get a little cluttered in the radio station. So, to make it a little more authentic, because, it would often have, like you said, you had the 4 guys trying to figure out 18 voices for Lord of the Rings. We've got about 7 or 8 main, actors that are working through these voices. There's a couple of the guys that are doing a lot of just all the male voices, but I have a senior in particular. The 2 voices he does are so opposite of each other. He's playing Mr. Potter, who's kind of the villain of the piece. And he came up with this wonderful, like, Alfred Hitchcock type of voice. And it was just perfect for the character. But then he's also playing Sam Wainwright, the guy from Texas. and he does both voices so well. It's really cool to hear him up there, playing with both of those voices. So, with having the smaller cast, it's just giving them these opportunities to really develop different characters. And it's, from a directing standpoint, it's really cool to watch. Sometimes I just kind of sit back and see what they do. And I'm just always amazed by what they come up with.
Sounds awesome. And the last year as well, you talked about how you really wanted to incorporate the space with it being kind of like the more it's open. Some of the actors were like out amongst the people in the audience. This time around, it sounds like you're doing that by having it be this more bird's eye view of like a radio station.
Yeah,
How
right.
is that,
So last year we opened it up to the floor. We had Fezziwig's party where we had this beautiful dance. Where our dancers were out amongst the crowd. This year, everybody's kind of constrained to the stage. So, like you said, it's a bird eye view of what goes on inside a radio station when they produce one of those old school radio dramas. We really want it to feel like people are in their living room at home having a wonderful Christmas meal and have the old school radio on and listening to a production of It's a Wonderful Life.
I swear I didn't know what the show was when he asked to come on. We're non-biased, even though we're also local radio, but that is really interesting to see. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Why It's a Wonderful Life? How did you choose the play for this year?
So after last year, and I told you about this last year, I had this crazy vision of the ghost of Christmas Present kind of walking through the tables and leading Scrooge. And I'm like, why not do a holiday Christmas-themed dinner theater? And we got so much positive feedback from the people that came last year. Like, you're going to do this every year now, right? We're going to have a Christmas show. And we really felt like this was a wonderful opportunity to have community. People from the Cape coming together to celebrate the Christmas season, the holiday season together. And it really was a beautiful thing last year. And so, looking at it, I wanted to do another Christmas-themed show, have it around the same time, and just really bring the Cape community together again to celebrate the holiday season. And so while I was looking at shows, this one just popped up, and I thought, what a cool little, twist to this, to do it inside a radio station and let the kids just be these voice actors. So I thought it was just a different challenge for my actors and just kind of a unique experience for our audiences. See something a little different, but keep in the same vein of coming together, having community around the Christmas season, having a great meal, supporting the arts in our school, giving our students a vocational opportunity. It just kind of all came together. And this is a classic American Christmas story. And that's why we're going with classic American food, Christmas time or holiday time food, to really kind of give that feel, that Americana feel.
We've once again we haven't learned from last year at all. I'm once again very hungry as we're doing this interview because we're talking about delicious food. Who sets up the menu? Is that also yourself? Or is that...
Well, I kind of go with an idea, and I speak to
recommend.
our wonderful chef, Joe Elia. And I said, Joe, last year you did this amazing job coming up with British Christmas. This year I want American Christmas. And so he kind of went in and he named all his dishes after the characters. It's like Potter's roast, I think, is the roasted chicken. And, so we've got, and then I think something's named after you, the prime rib. So he's got, and then even the apple pie has edible flowers on it. So it's Zuzu's little petals, if you remember the end where her petals came off her flower. So the apple pie will have not only ice cream, but little edible flowers on it as well. And it's called Zuzu's petal pie. So as always, Joe just knocks it out of the park with these things. And this menu is great. It's just a fantastic menu.
All right, hear me out. Next year, Sleeping Beauty, edible chocolate roses. That's the goal.
That could be
idea.
it. That could be it. Yes.
That's what I'd like to see at some point here from the thing. So you mentioned multiple vocations. You've already mentioned carpentry and electronics.
Yeah, we had our engineering shop that
Okay.
designed our on air and applause signs.
Okay.
And they've done it, and it looks old school, but it's got all kind of like new circuits, and you can remotely control them. So it gives us the best of both worlds, the modern tech with that old school feel.
It's not a 800,000 watt like mega light bulb that Edison himself.
Not like they used to do. No, now we're doing it with LEDs.
I was like, I'm starting to sweat just thinking about it.
Right,
really.
right.
But Finley, are you in other vocations as well? Are you like double dipping in this production with like getting wiring put together? Like, what else are you involved in at the school?
I don't really I mean, auto collision repair doesn't really work on theater productions.
They don't have the back half of a car.
Yeah.
hanging out
I
on
actually
stage
tried
or
to get a
something.
car door because there's a car door sound for the full, and I was told no.
Yeah.
That's dedicated to
Yes.
the Foley work. The
Yes.
whole
Yeah.
Subaru Forester.
That's right. Yeah, but I was
Bring
hoping,
an
but
entire car
Ready to
on
go.
stage.
yeah. We do have students though that are double dipping. My guy that's playing Potter is actually a carpenter himself, so he was working on the sets. So a lot. My Mary Bailey is in cosmetology, so she's helping with the hair design and all that. So we do have students that are double dipping between their shop and their love for theater.
So they know who to blame when the desks aren't quite level, they're wobbling a little
That's
bit.
right,
You know
yes.
how, and then she's free because she's in the
Yeah,
auto
yeah.
That's right.
body.
She's off the hook.
She's ready to go. But that is really interesting, and also it's interesting that it's a tech school, but you also still have this love of the arts, and everybody's getting involved and stuff like that. So that is great to see, especially with the variety they're able to offer with different shows that I've seen so far out of there too.
I think a lot of our kids, and rightly so, they show them like the vocational path that is available on the Cape Cod, and I think sometimes they forget other things they can do with their vocational skills. You could get a great union job working in theater, building sets or wiring mics for our electricians, getting into the cosmetology side. So this just gives our kids an opportunity to see all the different things and think outside the box with their technical skills that they've developed over these years, and giving them a chance to do it in a fun environment and creating something that people are going to come and love is really going to open their eyes to the different things that they could do with their vocation.
All right, awesome. Now, Finley, so we're about coming up on time, but I wanted to ask some more of the general fun questions. So, I mean, is it a relief when you're up there with the script now? You don't have to quite memorize as much, or
Yeah, a little bit less of a risk,
line and listen for it off from
Yeah.
camera.
But I do sort of miss not having a script in my hand, so I can, kind of act out with my body rather than.
Okay.
But it is a fun and more unique thing to do. But I am having a lot of fun, yeah.
Wonderful, and as well, I mean, I don't know how other people feel, but when oftentimes when we've hired people here, we have them do a demo and they record and stuff like that, and then we play it back for them, and they're like, "Oh, don't make me listen. I have to listen back to my own recording. Oh no, you sound so different." With it being radio focused, I can only imagine. It's are you also in that camp of I don't want to
Yeah.
see it. I don't want to see myself or listen to myself.
Yeah, whenever my family records the shows and they play, I'm like, don't play it in front of me. I don't want to hear
no.
myself.
But it's fun. It is interesting. And you mentioned that this is also part of an ongoing love for you. What do you have a favorite play or a favorite author? Is Shakespeare still going to be fun for you just because it was the first thing you acted in? Or is it anything else that might be your favorites in terms of what you like about theater and some other plays you've done before?
Yeah, I definitely have a nostalgic love for Shakespeare because it was the first plays that I ever really did. But I do like more modern ones where I can actually understand what I'm saying. But
Well, it's a bonus.
yeah. I don't, which it's kind of ironic because I don't really watch many plays, but I do remember watching the Lion King play, which was my all-time favorite because I liked all the costumes and the masks.
That's some good tastes right there.
Yeah.
You know how to pick them. What about, are you a musicals fan? Is that something that you're interested in as well? Or so far you've been more on the prose side with Shakespeare?
I like a mixture of everything, honestly. I don't really have a preference. I like the songs. The songs are nice to
That
sing
is good.
to.
I was wondering if there's some excitement for Wicked soon. Or
Yeah,
if we're gonna
I am excited for Wicked.
gonna have to
yeah.
get Bobby to do some kind of new
Well,
musical
Finley
production.
was in a few of our musicals. They said we're started with "You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown." Finley was in Little Shop of Horrors. So we've done some musicals as well. But there's a whole mix of things we do. This year we're going to be going to the METG High School Festival.
Oh,
So we're
okay.
going to competition. With my seniors, they've been with me. They've been, growing in the program, and I think it's time that they get to experience the festival because it's just so much fun. And it gives them an opportunity to compete. So we're excited about going back to a festival. We haven't been since COVID, so.
Okay.
Going back to it, we think is just going to be a lot of fun.
What pieces do you bring to festivals like
So
that? Is that
we're going to be
shorter-
doing a play called The Yellow Boat.
Okay.
And it was written by a man whose son was born in the 1980s, and he was born with hemophilia. and it was the 1980s, so he contracted HIV. And so his son was just this wonderful, happy kid, this great artist, and so it really just kind of delves into his life. It's a very dramatic piece. The plays have to be 40 minutes or shorter for a festival. So this one actually had a competition script version of it. So we're really excited to bring this story to life.
Sure.
After the dinner theater.
Of course, we're focused on the dinner theater.
Yes.
But that is interesting. Is that? But I just want to. Is that just seniors? Are you just going to bring the seniors with
No,
you? Is
no.
that
I
gonna be
mean,
the whole
my
program?
process has always been, everybody. It's an open audition.
Sure.
And whoever I think is best for a role, that's who I'm going to cast, because I want to put them all up there in positions to succeed. Now, obviously, our seniors have more experience, and
Well, yeah, I was wondering if it was almost like almost like a capstone project or something.
Yeah,
in that
it's not
regards,
a capstone project, but what it would come down to, if I had two people that were like equally good for a part, and one was a senior, then I'm going to lean senior, right?
Sure.
Because it's their last opportunity. But if a freshman comes in and blows us away, they blow us away, right? You remember Sean that came with us last year?
Yes.
He was Charlie Brown as a freshman, so if they're right for a role, they're right for a role, so that's just kind of how we cast it.
Yeah, speaking of Sean, hope you're doing okay. Just wanted to know we're still thinking of you. But anyway, we're about coming up on time. Thank you both so much for joining me for this conversation. Finley, before we wrap up, is there anything else you wanted to highlight for our listeners in terms of excitement or just general words for your audience or fellow peers who might be listening in right now?
I want to thank everyone for supporting the arts, because I love the arts, and I'm glad that other people do too. So.
All right, awesome. And Bobby as well, last words. And also,
so I think the most important words is how you can get tickets,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so tickets are available. We have a ticketing website called On the Stage. If you go to the uppercapetech.com website, there's a link right there on the front page to get out there. When you go in, you'll select what meal that you want for each ticket. And I think the most important thing I want to stress is, if you have multiple people going under different names and you want to sit together, there is a way in the notes section at the end to kind of put, I would like to sit with Grady. And then we will make sure that you are sitting together, because we do have to do the seating chart ahead of time. And we want to make sure that people that want to sit together, sit together. So it would be a great help if they could either make a note, or they can email me at rgenerow@uppercapetech.org, and I'd be happy to try to get groups together. We want everybody to come, enjoy the holidays as a community, but we also know you want to sit with your friends and your family, so we want to try to make that happen. You can help us by just letting us know who you'd like to sit with.
all right, awesome. Yeah, and as well for people who are listening on the radio site, on the segment of the description for this segment up on capecod.com, we'll also have a link to the ticket website.
Excellent.
So if people want to learn more, check it out. And we kind of glossed over, but you do have to order the food at the time.
Yeah, so you do have to order the tickets ahead of time. We just have to order enough food. But when you come in, you'll see that you can purchase the ticket based on the meal that you want. So you would just say, if you want prime rib, just click on the prime rib, and that's your ticket. And so that'll process through. The website's really, really easy to use. I understand that on the Cape we do have some older folks that like to come and enjoy the arts. And if technology is an issue, again, email me at rgenerow@uppercapetech.org, and we'll try to help you out and see what we can do to help you get tickets if online is just going to be an issue. So we want everybody to come regardless, so reach out to us. We'll work around any problems. We'd love to have you come celebrate the Christmas season with us at Upper Cape Tech. We want this to kind of be an ongoing tradition. Upper Cape Tech has the wonderful craft fair that everybody thinks of around this time of year. The second thing we want you to think of is the Upper Cape Tech Dinner Theater.
Is there do you have any ideas for what might be next year?
Well, I think we want to try
peeks?
and keep, we just absolutely love the idea of bringing people on the Cape together in this community around the holidays. I don't know a particular play yet, but we want to keep it holiday themed, Christmas themed, and we want to just keep people coming together for the Christmas season, and kind of celebrating together on the Cape.
All right, awesome. Thank you both for joining me for this conversation. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Grady. Appreciate you having us back.
I'm Grady Cullen in the CapeCod.com News Center, and thank you for listening. Please check out the link below if you want to learn more about the upcoming show.